Welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Teachers Podcast. With me today is Shelley. She is a dear friend. Shelley works in the field of substance abuse and mental health. She's a wellness coach. She does frequency healing, and she's a spiritual seeker. It's such an honor to have you on, Shelley. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
So today we're going to potentially touch on some of these topics. We're going to talk about gene keys. We're going to talk about the great shift on the planet happening. We're going to talk about some of Shelley's plant medicine experiences and so much more. So we'll see what spirit guides us to talk about. I'd love to start the conversation by hearing about your spiritual awakening, Shelley.
Yeah, so it's been quite the journey, as most people's have, I think. But just a little background, I was raised evangelical Christian. So went to the same church and school, raised initially Baptist. So everything was really considered sinful, even dancing. We didn't
Mhm.
have like prom, we had banquet. So just very restrictive. And then I even went to a Christian university, and then went through some pretty traumatic experiences there and just totally walked away from my faith and just numbed out. So lots of alcohol, partying, just, whatever it took to not think. And so, and then I came back to my Christian faith, but I came back and like I don't know if anyone's familiar with like charismatic Christians. So these are the ones that like speak in tongues, believe in healings, and
Mm.
laying on of hands, and that actually opened up my heart and my mind and my spirit to be more receptive to more spiritual teachings. Um, so I was still, pretty Christian for a while, and then um, went through quite a lot of religious trauma. There are some documentaries about not my specific trauma, but some of the leaders that really hurt me. But I digress. Um, I started traveling the world, meeting different people, and just being open to different ways of life. So seeing how, like, there would be a monk that would be meditating and wouldn't even kill like a mosquito trying to bite him versus like a Christian that might do something really horrible in the name of Jesus, I was like, like something's not right here. So that really led me to um, opening my spirit to different ways. And now I really wouldn't consider myself any specific religion, but yes, definitely spiritual seeker, very open. I really say my religion is love. And I learned from really all different types of religions um, and spiritual teachers and ways of life. I really do resonate a lot with Buddhism, but I'm not Buddhist by any means, but really resonate with a lot of those teachings. But yeah, I think all religions have really beautiful aspects of them, and we can implement a lot of them. So that kind of led me to where I'm at now.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, during your travels, was there any specific ashrams or any really powerful teachers that you encountered that were really impactful for you?
Um, from my travels, I mean, I was not traveling in the lap of luxury by any means. So I was couch surfing a lot
Hmm.
and like the website couch surfing. And this
Hmm.
was back before it really blew up, like before it was like a thing. It was free and it was all about community and sharing life and sharing culture. So, and a lot of my teachers honestly have not been like big gurus or
Mm.
especially the ones that really impacted me. I think if I like being so indoctrinated in the Christian faith, you're literally taught that anything that's not of the word of God or of Jesus is demonic.
Hmm.
And so I was so like cut off from a lot of those things. So it was really just actually interacting with regular people and seeing their ways of life and how, their spiritual practices and having deep conversations and be like, oh, why don't you think about it this way or that way? It was like a very gentle awakening journey for me. It wasn't, I say gentle, but I feel like as soon as I made the decision to have like, I was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the church for quite a while, where I was really just kind of exploring and like, is this safe? Is this okay?
Hmm.
But once I fully stepped 2 feet out, it was like warp speed, like
Right, right.
it really took off. But yeah, prior to that, it was just a very gentle journey of like, okay, this is safe. This actually isn't demonic. Like this is very loving. Like it was a very, yeah, gentle process until I jumped fully out. It was like,
Uh-huh.
holy crap. I had a lot of time to make up. So,
Okay, so let's talk about that. When you jumped fully out, what was that like?
oh man, I feel like I said, there was a lot of time to make up. So I feel almost like there were a lot of really intense lessons that I had to learn. Um, and so, yeah, it can be a mix of things like being ripped out of my life that I knew weren't for me, but maybe I didn't have the strength at the time to actually make that decision for me. I did start journeying with plant medicine around that time because prior I was so afraid
Mm-hmm.
to open myself up to whatever demonic entity could attach to me. And I
Mm-hmm.
still do like value protected spaces for
Oh, for
those
sure.
journeys. And because I mean, those things can happen if you're reckless. Um, but yeah, actually journeying with different plant medicines and psychedelics have really helped like break those chains of religious indoctrination
Mm-hmm.
to where, I was from the womb, indoctrinated.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of strongholds there, and it really helped break through those doors in ways that I felt like really stuck, whether that would be in meditation or in therapy or whatever ways I just couldn't understand or I couldn't get myself through, you know, to fully accept more like deeper teachings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Psychedelics really did help like break down those walls for sure.
So which plant medicine helped you initially the most?
Definitely ayahuasca.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember, like my first ayahuasca journey. Okay, so I had a partner at the time and he was feeling called to journey and I was just doing it with him. And I'm trying to remember if I had even experimented with psychedelics ever before. If I did, maybe one time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember the timeline of all of that. Um, but I really had like no experience. I went 0 to 60.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. 0 to 1,000, really.
Yeah, zero to 1,000. Um, and I mean, that first experience was really good, but it was probably my second journey that I had probably the most impactful, like memories where I was like, whoa, like this is really a deep teaching that I'm going to carry with myself forever. Um,
So can you
but yeah,
talk a little bit about some of the takeaways, some of the major lessons that you experienced on the medicine?
yeah. So my first journey, it was like a 3 day ceremony back to back to back. And I had a cold my first day and I almost didn't participate because I was like, oh, I just really don't feel good. And they were like, no, just do like a small cup and the medicine's really powerful. And I literally melted into the floor and went into the most deep sleep ever.
Oh, wow.
Woke up yeah, woke up, everyone was sharing. And I was just like, I mean, I was still a little groggy, went right to bed and slept through the night and woke up probably 90% better.
Wow.
Like that was pretty incredible. And my next one, I was the next night and I was processing a lot of generational trauma
Hmm.
and a lot with my father. So I portaled into this place where my father was like really hurting and he I mean he was like you could say somewhat abusive growing up. He went through a lot of trauma. He went through a ton of abuse. So he was just very unhealed. And I went to a place where I was processing a lot of that for him, like when he was young, like he was unwanted. I mean, he had a rough life. His father was an alcoholic. His mother was not all there. Um, and that was one of my most difficult journeys. Um, and yeah, I had a lot of like bloody demonic visions. My purge was like, well, it was like rage. So it was like all this stored anger and rage. I think from myself and from my dad, because obviously it's passed on, but I was just, oh, it was just it was abrasive.
Thank God
Um,
that came out, right? Yeah.
yeah. And then my third night of that journey, I went very light. I was still because I didn't have a day to process. It was back to back to back. So I really do love having a day to process,
Hmm.
especially when you like haven't really experienced that before and you're just like jumping in full force. You're like, what the heck was that? Um, so I went very light the last day and just was still processing that second journey that was so intense.
Hmm.
And then my next ceremony, I went to Costa Rica, Inca Mia, um, and I had really clear intention. So at that point in my life and in my career, I was really questioning like what I was doing with my life. Like I did love what I did, like working in substance abuse and mental health. It just I knew it wasn't the full extent of um, my purpose. So I really went in like, what is my purpose? What am I here for? And that was my like, yeah, I just was like, I need answers. I need direction. I need
Hmm.
guidance. And the very first night, she came to me so beautifully and was like, because, oh, and just also, there's been so many people that have been like, oh, you're a healer, you're a healer, you're a healer. And I'm like, what am I supposed to heal? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I just felt like I have so many interests and so many things, and it's like I'm like, what is it where you're like something master of none? What is that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Or,
jack of all trades, master,
yeah,
something like that, master of
so,
none. Yeah.
yeah, but kind of in like the health, the healing world.
Hmm.
I'll dabble here, dabble there. But anyway, so I went with like a really clear intention of like, okay, I'm ready to like figure out why I'm here. And she came to me very clearly and was like, you are a healer. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, anything you want. And I was like, great. Like what? And it was just very clear that it's in like my healing presence is I just embody it. It's who I am. So really I don't have to, it was good to hear, but also not because I would love to have like, this is my clear vision. This is what I need to actually go after. This is what I need to be doing. But it was very much like this healing energy that I embody and why I'm here is just it's in my being.
Hmm.
So, you
Like your
know,
frequency, right?
my frequency. Yeah. So it was very freeing to me that even though I'm still working in a career that I feel like isn't in full alignment. It's definitely on the path. And I just focus on whoever God puts in front of my path. So, it's not like I'm trying to have this big following or do this big impact. And if that happens for me one day, great. But my focus is just really on whoever the universe puts in front of me and sharing that love, that frequency of healing, helping them however I can. If, the invitation comes, that's really where my focus is.
Hmm.
That makes
Well,
sense.
yeah, for sure. And I know, knowing you for several years now, I know that you really love to experiment and try different like technological machines and things that help the body, right? Like working with plasma and I don't know, have you worked with the Rife machine before?
No, I mean, I do like frequency healing.
Hmm.
So like applied kinesiology, obviously like red light therapy,
Hmm.
Chinese medicine, herbs, mycology, like mushrooms. Um, obviously diet. Um, but yeah, those type of ozone therapy I've done,
Right, right. Yeah, that's
hyperbaric
what I
oxygen
mean.
therapy.
Yeah. Yeah, like combining healing with today's modern ways, right? And
hmm
also ways that have
hmm
been around and have been repressed for, since the early 1900s, some of them, like
hmm
I've been really into the Rife machine.
hmm
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I've never tried it.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. Basically, it's a machine that runs a specific frequency, and there's a book that comes with it that's like that thick. And
hmm
uh, basically, whatever you want to heal, you set the frequency to it, and there's all these presets, right? So there's different frequencies that'll emit from it, and there's
hmm
two basically like metal rods that you hold, and
hmm
you want to put them on your skin or you can hold them in your hands, and the frequency pulses through the machine, and then it's aligned with whatever you're healing. So uh, people have healed Lyme disease,
hmm
cancer, you know, William, I think his name's William Rife. He
hmm
was around in the early 1900s and he created this machine, and he was basically silenced and all those kind of things. And because his machine was healing people, it was really working on aspects that modern day health, if you go to the hospital, they might put you on something to work on the symptoms, right? But not actually cure the disease,
hmm
and so for me it's been really interesting because I had like I had like a deep cough where I had this mucus coming up, and I work with kids, so they are constantly sick, and the seasons are changing right now, and I got something from them, and I put it on a setting where it basically healed that. It healed the cough within one session. It's like a 15-minute session. You sit with this machine and pulses the frequency, and I don't really feel much, and I'm pretty sensitive. Like first time I did it, I felt little tingles throughout my
hmm
body, but as I got used to it, it just felt like a little bit warm.
hmm
And
hmm
so yeah, that really fascinates me. And then like things like plasma and ozone and all the things that you mentioned. Which one of those has been really, was there any of them that you mentioned that were really like, whoa, that like really shifted something in me?
Um, I mean, they're all so great. I mean, frequency healing in general, like I've been working with like holistic doctors now for like 15 years. So there are like, and I'm trained in mind, body, spirit release frequency healing. So I'm only level one right now, but eventually I really want to go through the whole like three levels and become a master at it. But um there, like right now, the level that I'm trained at is I can block or I can remove blocks from positive emotions and um, remove negative emotions from the body. Because if you know anything about like Chinese medicine, like there's different emotions that can be stored in different parts of your body. Like liver, for example, is like anger and rage, lungs is grief. Like every organ has a different emotion associated to it.
Hmm.
Um, so that's and working with like those type of frequency healing doctors, Chinese medicine doctors, um, that's been the most impactful for me at this point. There's some more like I really would love to do. There's a type of ozone therapy that cleans the blood. So there's multiple ways you can ingest ozone, basically through like any hole.
Okay. Okay.
So you could do hyperbaric oxygen therapy, but there's also these O3 machines where you could breathe it. You can literally do it wherever, but you can also inject it, which I did once, and that was a little bit crazy. It did help. Um, but there's one where it literally can, like almost like a dialysis machine. It can actually it takes your blood out, cleans it, and puts it back. So it can be super helpful. Like right now, I'm dealing with like some mold toxicity, like parasite infection, some, gut stuff. But it just, financially I'm calling in those funds to be able to do that. It's like one thing at a time.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So for those that don't know what ozone is, can you talk a little bit about that?
well, I'm not an expert by any means, but I mean, it's pure oxygen, and O3 is just a different like makeup of the oxygen so that it's pure. I mean, there's no disease or virus or bacteria that can survive within like pure oxygen. So O3 is however they do it to make it so it can go into your body and not kill you.
Okay.
Because if there's like bubbles or something like that, you can get, I think it's similar if it's not done correctly, it could be, you could get like the bends where if you're, I don't know if you scuba dive or whatever, but you have to come up really slowly. If not, you can get these bubbles and it could like go to your heart and kill you or your
Okay.
brain or wherever the bubbles go.
Okay.
Um, so it's something like that. But yeah, I'm definitely not the expert on that. But yeah, going through like multiple health issues, it's just like the rest of life. Like we go through these lessons to learn things to be able to share with others. And so that's part of the reason why I feel like I've gone through some of these struggles and health struggles, not only for myself, but to, help other people, eventually help other people. And that's always my goal, is turning your pain into purpose.
For
So,
sure, for sure. And I think that for me, these experiences that feel so intense physically, right? Like I've had a crazy staph infection on my hip, for example, like 5 years ago. It turned into the
mhm.
size of a grapefruit within 3 days.
MRSA,
And
was it MRSA?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've had that. It's
And
gnarly.
in the moment it feels really intense, like, oh my God, what's going on here? And then there's a shift that happened for me where it was like, actually, this is releasing old energy. This is releasing stagnant emotions, stagnant frequencies, stagnant cells and things like that that have been ready to be released. And from this, there's something that I'm learning, and that my soul chose to experience this so that it can eventually I can share these teachings and what happened to me and the stories,
Hmm.
and then other people can get something from it. And I think from my understanding is that my soul chose these experiences for some sort of reason,
Hmm.
and there's these patterns and cycles that happen, and when I'm ready to release it, then the universe opens up a door for that to happen,
Yeah.
however it needs to.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I also believe in it's an upgrade for our body.
Hmm.
Like when you're able to beat something like that, it's like your DNA, your immune system just got upgraded. Like
Hmm.
you're going to be able to fight things even harder. Just like the resilience when we go through like difficult emotional things and we get through it and we're like, man, I'm stronger now than I was. Like that felt like it was going to kill me, but I can face anything now until the next thing comes.
Right, right. It really just like reminds me of the limitlessness of
Hmm.
this human body, and how amazing it is
Hmm.
at healing, and how, when I'm able to fully relax, my body just starts to naturally unwind,
Yeah.
when I just go into that space of stillness and just lay and set that intention. Okay, let's unwind some stuff. Let's
Hmm.
release some stagnant
Hmm.
energy that no longer serving. And it's really amazing to witness that. So coming back to the frequency healing, so can you I'd love to hear more about that. So are you using tuning forks with these techniques?
I can use tuning forks. So I'll muscle test. Are you familiar with muscle testing?
Hmm. Hmm. Can
Okay.
you talk a little bit
So
about that for people not familiar with it?
yeah, so muscle testing is essentially just testing your body, your nervous system to see what if something will work for you or not.
Hmm.
So um and it's a form of like bioresonance, biofeedback. You could even do it when you're in the grocery store. If you are really in tune, you can do a sway test where you could go up to like maybe, I don't know, like fruit or vegetables that are typically really good for you, organic, of course. And you can, if you're if your body is craving it, if it needs those essential vitamins and nutrients, your body can, if you just really relax, your body can move towards it. And then go to like the junk food aisle and pull out some seed oil, crap, sugary nonsense. And then if you're really super relaxed, your body should fall backwards.
Right.
So
And
you kind of just let your mind go. Yeah.
you can tune it too. Like with muscle testing, when I do it, I, when you're standing, I just say, show me yes. And then
hmm
my body will lean forward or back. And then show
hmm
me no, it'll go forward or back. Or then, if it doesn't move, then it's just like neutral. But that usually rarely happens.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so with the mind, body, spirit release, um, I'm muscle testing typically using the arm unless somebody has like an issue with their shoulder or something like that, or I could use the other arm, or I could do it on, I could proxy test as well. So I can use like my fingers. You can do a snap test. I'm not as good at the snap one, but there's different ways that you could do it. So I'll go through a number of different emotions to see what resonates. And then I have like these certain vials that have the frequency imprinted. And so we'll either work towards, um, and there's a certain um, like ritual that I'll do afterwards to help that release, whatever that is. It does use an infrared light, it's like a little flashlight. It's really cool. And it's got frequencies embedded into it as well. So there's just certain areas that I'll go over on the body. You can also use some acupressure. I can use tuning forks. So I can muscle test to see what would be most beneficial for the individual. Um, and then we'll do that. And then there's typically like things for them to do on their own because although like, I mean, we're as healers, we're not actually doing the healing. They're doing the healing. We're just facilitating the path.
Hmm.
So, having them, whatever they're muscle testing to do, there can be certain mantras or meditations or breath work or certain foods or supplements or things like that that would be beneficial for them. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So for basically, just so that because I'm not that familiar with this,
hmm
basically there's different vials you're saying that have like water in it or what's in them?
Yeah. So it's usually, I mean, I don't make the vials. I could show you. Want me to show you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For those that are listening in on the podcast, Shelley's going to show this is available on YouTube as well for people to see the video. So Shelley's going to show us right now what they look like.
Oh, there's, again, I don't make them, but I don't know if you can kind of
Oh,
see.
okay. Okay. I've seen. Okay.
Yeah. So there's, you know, everything from like abandonment, anger, anxiety, greed, trapped, unable to let go. Some positive ones are like creativity, connection, forgiveness, freedom, gratitude, joy, love. And there's also associated um, organs. So gallbladder, heart, kidney, liver, lung, lymph, skin, stomach, thyroid. So it can get pretty deep.
Okay.
And I'm only level one.
Okay.
So, and then the little red light thing, like this little guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you go over just certain parts and a lot of it is done with intention because it is like a form of like quantum healing.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. This is a really powerful technique. I really love it.
Yeah.
So how many levels are there?
I believe there's three. There's a
Okay.
lot of like the woman who designed it is a Reiki master, and
Okay.
she has combined like multiple different healing modalities to create this technique. So that's really why I was drawn to it. I'm not certified in Reiki, but I'm definitely drawn to this type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and ironically, a lot of them are Christian. So,
Oh,
which
wow.
I mean, I still have I should preface this by saying I still have a very powerful relationship with Jesus and Christ consciousness.
Hmm.
It's just not in the confines of like institutionalized religion.
Right. Right.
So,
And it's
but
really
yeah.
interesting how, for a lot of the spiritual seekers that I know, the the relationship with Jesus just forms in a different way. There's a relationship
Hmm.
that becomes very personal. It's like
Hmm.
you don't have to go to a priest to talk to Jesus. You can go directly to Jesus, and also Jesus held a frequency, which, since we're talking about frequency, right? He held a frequency of what is capable as a human, and he
Hmm.
did go to that. There's physical proof that he was in India and
India.
Tibet and
Yep.
Egypt and all these places where these modalities and these ways of healing and expanding the limitations of the human body and the human
Hmm.
experience, where he learned from these masters. And there's actually a woman that is affiliated with the Self Realization Fellowship with Yogananda,
Hmm.
who takes people on a tour through India where Jesus had visited. And
Wow.
that's something that I'd love to do one day, just to
Okay. Well, let
see.
me know. I'll come too, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like it would be fascinating to see like where he went and just to feel his
Hmm.
energy. And yeah, it's to me, Jesus represents what is really possible as a human. And
Hmm.
he anchored in, he was like the first anchor. I mean, Krishna is said to be uh, was a reincarnation of Jesus, was a reincarnation of Krishna, and so forth. So I believe this being has been on the planet for many lifetimes, and as these different deities and really advanced beings that continued to help anchor in love and these frequencies of what is now becoming and spreading as the new earth or the great awakening, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting as, I've been um, exploring the more like conscious spiritual community and world and teachings and whatnot. Like I've seen over the past, really, I feel like even more so in the past like 4 to 5 years, maybe a shift back towards Jesus and his teachings within that community where I feel like before, oh, I don't know for sure, but I've just noticed within maybe it's my community of people that are like being drawn back to Jesus.
Hmm.
But again, not in a religious way.
Hmm.
So, as we're going through this great shift on the earth and as a species, I feel like his teachings are going to become more and more profound and useful. Because if you take away a lot of the other stuff that's in the Bible, because I mean, you've got to remember, like, well, the Bible was only canonized, which they a group of religious men picked the books of the Bible. I want to say it was like in the 1400s, maybe 1600s. Don't, I'm bad with numbers and dates, but it
Couple
wasn't
hundred
that
years
long
ago.
ago.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't that long ago. And and the Bible's also been interpreted and translated like so many times. And there's, some proof that like the King James version, which is it's one of maybe the most popular version, there's distortions there for control and manipulation.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
but the words of Jesus ring true.
I just watched a documentary about how there's all these tomes, if you will, and versions of the Bible that are actually in the Vatican because it's not complete. There was way more, and they kind of refined it and took it in order for people to bow to the church, basically,
Hmm.
and the church was the government and the government was the church, and
Hmm.
it was the way of controlling the masses, and so much of it was done from ego. And
Hmm.
it was such a different time, though. It was like the medieval times when this book was released, and that was such a different mentality and frequency and consciousness of the planet. You think about
Hmm.
even 100 years ago how different
Hmm.
this earth was and how it is now. For me, it's continuing to evolve,
Hmm.
and in different parts of the world, they talk about the Aquarian age coming in, right? We were in the age of Pisces, and
Hmm.
now in 2012, I believe we started shifting into the Aquarian age. So
Hmm.
even teachers like Yogi Bhajan, who is the founder of Kundalini Yoga, he
Hmm.
brought the teachings over in 1970. So he was still teaching in a very Piscean way, right? Like he was very like commanding, like do this, and like
Hmm.
the Aquarian age is much more like you are your own teacher.
Hmm.
The gurus and the teachers are just here to give us guidance, and we take what
Hmm.
resonates and leave the rest, and
Hmm.
it's a way more uh flowy, right? Like Aquarius is water, right?
Hmm.
And so it's more of like a more flow than so much structure and grit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely shifting into a more feminine energy um, that I think that humanity is shifting into. So it's really beautiful, especially being a woman and going through my journey and my experience and like my human design. I'm a projector, and I I've really been leaning into that a lot over the last few years. It's been a really good guidance system for me, especially if I try to strive too hard. Like as a projector, we have to really stay in flow, wait for the invitation. We have to rest a lot more. We have much less energy. However, and I don't know, like I've listened to a lot of teachings on 2027 being the year that projectors really are going to
Mm.
be coming into their um like purpose and fruition of it's going to be like more our time to shine.
I'm getting
So,
chills as you're saying that, so I think that's confirmation. Yeah, that feels like it's
yeah,
resonating through my body. Yeah.
which is interesting because like the last few years of my life have been challenging, and even now like I'm definitely in a period um of isolation, but it's like really I feel like by choice, well, by choice and not choice, because I'm definitely dealing with, some things physically and spiritually and mentally, but I recognize the season that I'm in, and it's really a season of like preparing me for what's next.
Hmm.
So, just having these little, you know, certain things of like certain teachings and things that come up and my in my field, it's like it gives me like hope and assurance that, there's always something around the corner.
For sure.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, that there's a
Yeah,
season for everything and honoring the season that you're in.
for sure. For sure. And I think for me, those in between periods have been somewhat of a struggle, where
Hmm.
I'm just like, oh, I want to be doing something. I want to just like go and like make some change, and there's a time and a space for that. And there's a
Hmm.
time and a space for just being okay with that in between period,
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
it's time for rest, recharge, and maybe whatever that looks like for each individual. And so you mentioned human design. Can we speak a little bit about that and then transition into gene keys?
Yeah. I'm definitely not an expert on either. I've only learned more about my projector archetype. So I'm a 5-1, so heretic investigator. So heretic is like natural born leader, coach, mentor. Um, the investigator is I like to dig in and know everything. So like if I hear something, I'm like, oh, I'll go down that rabbit hole and then I'll go down another rabbit hole.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you definitely
Um,
have that aspect for sure.
Yeah, I'm a rabbit hole person, but it's fun, you know, and I'm able to learn a lot that way. But I'm definitely a truth seeker for
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
But also there could be multiple truths. It's like, what is truth? We could get really philosophical with that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's really interesting, like knowing my human design being a 5-1 projector is, from what I've been told, is like a double projector. So
Mm.
our projection field is pretty intense. So we magnify um like what other people are feeling, their emotions, like, and also like our, like, especially as a 5/1, from my understanding, it's like double. So like I have to be really intentional and careful with my words because they're
Mm,
very piercing,
mm-hmm,
just because that projection field is like so much more intense.
mm-hmm.
Um, I also have learned that my definition is my spleen.
Okay.
So it's highly intuitive, like super intuition,
Okay.
which is so interesting because like looking back on my life before, I even began my awakening journey or knew anything about human design, like I'm like, oh wow, like I could see how my spleen was at work. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
really funny to say, but I'm always like, oh, it's my spleen.
Right.
Um, so we get very fast yeses and nos.
Okay.
So like think about it as like an animal in the wild, if they're grazing or eating, in the field and all of a sudden they get like, oh, danger, run. It's very much like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning more and more to trust my intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because, there's sometimes things just don't make sense. And it's like, well, why am I getting a no on that? Or why am I
Mm-hmm.
getting a yes on that? And if I don't listen, I like will reap the consequences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm learning very much to just listen to my intuition. And it can even be as simple as like, going and hanging out with somebody. If I get a no on it, I like my empathic heart would want to be like, well, oh, I don't want them to feel bad or,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, no, you need to listen to that, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
So it's a process of learning and learning to trust myself and my spleen.
Yeah, so that's really interesting that you're a projector because one of our previous guests, her name's Dasha, Dasha Love. She came on in one of the previous episodes, and she was also a projector, and she talked a lot about the projectors. And so, for those that don't know, human design was created by a man. Do you remember his name?
No,
I
you
don't
want me to look
remember.
it up?
No, it's okay. But basically, he tuned in and he created this system that there's five archetypes, right? Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like five archetypes. There's the manifester, there's the generator, there's the projector, there's the reflector, and there's the manifesting generator. And so each one of those is a human design that
Mhm.
every person falls into one of those categories. The reflectors are the rarest. I think it's only like 1% of people in the
Yeah,
world.
like less than two. Yeah.
I've only met two people that are reflectors in my
I've
whole
only
life.
met one.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really interesting to be around them because
hmm
they really are like a true mirror. They really
hmm
show me what I'm going through, any insecurities, anything that's like, oh man, why is that happening? And just by being around them, right? Like
Yeah.
they don't have to say much. I just have that experience with those two people. And then uh, you touched a little bit on projectors. I'm a manifesting generator, so I'm really good at getting things started. I'm really
hmm
good at creating, like
hmm
creating a new group or creating a new um, website, like anything new that's like starting up, like a company, a business, like anything that's starting up. I'm really it's interesting because throughout my journey, that's been kind of my role. Like I'll meet a couple of people, we'll decide on something like, hey, let's start a meditation group. And I'll be like, yeah, let's go. And then within like days, sometimes one day, it'll just start. And then what's really interesting is looking at how, let's say you're in a conscious business together with other people, right? Like it's really interesting to break down what different individuals do depending on their human design, you know?
Hmm.
and different roles that people play, especially, and it works really well in a conscious community as well, where you can really do well with everybody's gifts, you know? And then manifestors, I know a few manifestors. They're also not as common, but they're here. They're like really good at just like creating out of nothing.
Hmm.
Something that's never existed on this plane. They're just like, all right, I'm gonna do that, and then it just happens. It just
Hmm.
comes to fruition. They're also really good at attracting the things that they want into their life. And then, which one did we cover? All of them now? Oh,
Generators,
generators.
they're
Yes.
workhorses.
Right. They're
Go,
like
go, go.
they're
I
like
wish I
the
had that energy.
they're like the worker
I could
bees
keep
where
up.
they can
Yeah.
just keep the energy moving with everything. Once it's started, it's really good to have generators on your team because they just move it forward and keep the momentum.
And I
And
think it's like 70% of the population are generators or something like
oh,
that. It's
that's
a
so
lot.
interesting. That's so
Yeah.
interesting because I think about bees, like
Yeah,
bumblebees, and how
totally.
the majority of them, there's drones and then there's worker bees and then there's the queen,
Hmm.
and it makes me think of that, like how they all work together to create, and it's just fascinating. I watched this documentary on David Blaine,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's got a new one out on the Disney platform. And one of the episodes they call it's called a beard bee beard, I believe it's called,
Hmm.
where they like put bees and they put the queen on like a little necklace inside like a little cage, and then all the bees just like swarm on him, and he's like in this bee jacket, and it's so fascinating how they're all just in
Yeah.
one place, and they're all vibrating. They're all vibrating at
Hmm.
that same frequency. And I also am fascinated with this lately because we're about to get some bees. We just got the bee
Oh, cool.
boxes, and I've been
That
doing
frequency that's been scientifically proven to heal past trauma and PTSD.
exactly. And beekeepers live like the longest out of anybody in
Hmm.
on the planet because that frequency, when you sit and meditate with it, there's so many healing properties with it. So yeah, that
Cool.
gives a little touch on human design. And you can go on the website and type in your date, when you were born, the location. That also fascinates me too, because I was born in another country and I moved to America when I was really young. And so, but my human design is different because of that location that my soul chose to come in, you know? And then my soul also was like, I want to grow up in America, So
Yeah.
it was really interesting that I chose that specific location because that gives me a very specific blueprint and imprint on how my life's gonna transpire, basically, And
Yeah, it's been a really big, like, really great tool for me to help navigate how my specific blueprint and design, like, interacts with the world around me.
mhm,
So rather than like thinking, oh, I'm just different, or oh, I don't have the energy, or I'm like, well, no, you're a projector. Like you've got a fraction of the amount of energy that other people do. And like our I forgot what it's called. We're supposed to wait for the invitation,
mhm,
where like generators, manifesting generators, like you can go create and make things boom, 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 boom. Like with projectors, we can position ourselves, but we're supposed to wait for the invitation. And when we're going out and like pounding the pavement and grinding, we're not designed to operate that way.
mhm,
And unfortunately, that's really the way that a lot of society is created. And a lot of us do experience burnout, health issues, typically latter 30s, early 40s. Hello. Um, and yeah, so I'm grateful to finally be in a place where I can slow down and I'm not just on the grind, survival. Like it feels really good to be able to actually be in my body, uh, have the time and space to heal, and be more in alignment with my human design. So yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So with this, how from your understanding, how are gene keys different? Because gene keys are also another way for us to navigate this reality and to kind of have a little bit of a taste of what our purpose is, basically.
Yeah, so Richard Rudd created the Gene Keys, and it, for me, I feel like, well, the Gene Keys is built on human design, the I Ching, and your astrological chart, your birth chart.
Hmm.
Um, I hope I'm not missing one. Again, I'm not an expert in any of these areas, but um, so for me, I feel like human design is more of like a masculine energy and Gene Keys is more of a feminine energy.
Okay.
So Richard Rudd he's very, I mean, he's poetic. So, um, the Gene Keys do require a lot of contemplation to fully
Mm,
understand.
okay.
And you can and we have all 64 Gene Keys encoded within our being. But there are like certain activation pathways um, that like similar to like a human design is your blueprint.
Hmm.
So like my top two are Gene Key 59, which is the dragon in your genome. That's a lot about um, really like I incarnated in to this path to really be a bridge and a conduit for this energetic transference that's happening.
Hmm.
So I really try to embody that in whatever way I can. And I'm I really feel like I have um, like an ability to kind of rise above and see the bigger picture
Hmm.
and not get so caught up in like divisiveness or um, like despair, like the world is ending. It's like, no, no, it's just transitioning. And
Hmm.
these are some growing pains, and that's okay. Um, and my second one is Gene Key 55. So, but you have certain ones for like your life path,
Hmm.
your Venus sequence, which is like love, and it doesn't have to be just romantic love, but it can be just all aspects of love and relationships. And then your pearl, which is finances. And I haven't dug into my pearl quite yet. Again, because like well, and 59 and 55, like 55 is like it's the biggest gene key in the book. It's like 25 pages. Most of them are
Whoa.
like, I know most of them are like 3 or 4 pages.
Yeah.
It's so mega. But yeah, and it's also the only one that has, so within the gene keys, you have, let me make sure I'm telling you this correctly. Um, so you have your city, what is the other one called? There's like 3 phases. Your, I can't think of it right now. Um, do you remember what it's called? So, like for example, Gene Key 55 is victimization, freedom, freedom. So it's the only one that um, has like two of the same things. So there's like the city, there's I can't remember what it's called. There's
Yeah.
like different levels.
Yeah. Yeah. And those levels, I believe,
Okay, I got it.
unlock
Sh
different
sh
aspects.
Yeah, shadow, gift, and city. So there's the shadow frequency, which obviously we all know what shadow frequency is as far as, things that are in the dark, things that we struggle with, like the polarity of good and evil, if you
Right.
could say. And then the gift is still, I don't really know how to completely describe it, but oh, your creative potential.
Hmm.
And then your city is a state of enlightened awareness. So that's like enlightenment in that specific area.
Hmm.
So Gene Key 55 is the only one that has like the same word for the gift in the city. So it's like
Oh.
victimization, freedom, freedom, which is really interesting because I haven't had an easy life. Um, and I can see there have been times in my life where I felt like a victim, you know? And like the the gift and the city are both freedom. And I feel like I've been on this quest for freedom for really
Mm,
my entire life.
hmm.
Um, but really freedom is just a state of mind. So like when
Right.
you really get to that, place, it's
Hmm.
like you can still exist and, be in some uncomfortable, you know, 3D environments. But when you go inward and it's, within your mind and your heart and your spirit, you can really be free, I feel like that's really truly escaping the matrix.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And the Gene Keys is a big fat book, but same as Human Design, you can go on the website, type in your date of birth, location, and it'll give you the basic Gene Keys. And then if you want to go further, you can get the book. And like for yours, it's 25 pages of really interesting aspects of self-reflection and ways to oh, okay, that's why that happened for me, or okay, that resonates why I was like that at that period of my life, or I'm like that now, or whatnot. And for me, it's just these are tools, right? To for me, it's things that I already intuitively know, but seeing it on paper and seeing it in in a physical form, something clicks in,
Hmm.
something activates where it's like, okay, that makes sense. Like I think my gift is light, and so a lot of the terms are like that, right? Where it's like like for you it's freedom, right? Like there's so
Hmm.
much that somebody could interpret as light or freedom,
Hmm.
and so like you said, it's a powerful tool to meditate on, to see like, okay, how do I want to bring my light to the world? How do I want to be the light? How do I want to embody the light? How do I want to use the light to clear my energy and to help
Hmm.
others and to shine? And so, yeah, these are just really extra tools for the spiritual toolbox, if you will,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are so poetic and there's so much depth to them that and we have all 64. So there's 64 gene keys. You can also listen to them for free on Spotify
Okay. Okay.
and on
Awesome.
and on SoundCloud. So
Awesome.
if you're like me, I'll be doing the dishes, listening to my gene keys, and I'll be like, "Whoa, you get these like downloads."
Okay. I got to do that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go walk on the beach, listen to some gene keys. And Richard Rudd also has some really great teachings on the keys that I'd recommend. He does have one about the great change
Okay.
on the earth that's on SoundCloud. Um, but yeah, so we have all 64, but there's just certain ones that are highlighted for us. So you'll have your activation sequence, your Venus, your Pearl, like your life path. So those are the ones that are kind of highlighted and can help bring clarity to certain areas of your life, like your purpose, your love relationships,
Hmm.
your finances, ways you make money, so they're definitely keys, but I could read the same gene key over and over again and I get something new. So they're pretty profound, but they do require a lot of contemplation for sure. It's not like an easy read. It's very much like you contemplate and you sit with it and you digest it, and then you'll have a breakthrough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I'd like to transition and talk about something that I know was a really powerful journey, just knowing you, which was your breast implant removal.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about that journey?
Yeah, so I have breast implants for 18 and a half years. I got them when I was 23. I wasn't trying to have huge boobs by any means. I was an athlete. So I started lifting weights when I was 13. They just never grew. I just was I was just ripped little thing. And so I got very small ones, which was very interesting because when I picked the smallest ones, and then when my surgeon took them out, he was like, "Yeah, the guy overfilled them," which I mean, they were still very moderate, um, but yeah, looking back after I got the implants, I used to be a runner and I couldn't run anymore. I would run half marathons and I just couldn't recover. And knowing what I know now is that there are over 40 neurotoxins and heavy metals in them, and your body is literally it's synthetic. There's plastics, it's silicone, it's all kinds of icky stuff and your body is literally just trying to like fight these things out of your body. It's trying to protect you.
Hmm.
So they actually form a capsule around them to protect them, and it holds a lot of that stuff. Um, but yeah, I started having health issues probably soon after I got them, but never made the correlation. Um, and I finally decided to get them out. So I moved to San Diego 2 years ago, and my health was just declining. I was just like, I have no energy. I can't function. Like chronic pain, chronic fatigue, brain fog. Um, and I just intuitively knew one day, I was like, I had been here for probably about 6 months, and I was like, it's your breast implants. And I'm like, great. So then I go down the rabbit hole and I'm like joining all these groups and I'm doing all this research. And I had actually known I wanted them out for a while, but it's it's way more expensive to get them out than to put them in. And especially if you do it correctly, because most women, especially if you're having any breast implant illness symptoms, you um you need to have something called an M block. So it actually removes the capsule that forms around the implant. Um, and I had just moved across country. I had just gone through some major financial issues. I'm like, oh great, how am I going to do this? But I was just like, it has to be done. And I did find the lump in my armpit, which was pretty scary. It ended up just being a swollen lymph node, but my body was just rejecting them. It was like time to go. And yes,
Hmm.
I could have changed them out, whatever, but I was just like done, like 40-year-old Shelley would have never chosen to get the implants, but they were stuck.
Hmm.
23-year-old Shelley had no idea. She was just like, oh, great. And you know what? Like, even nowadays, they really don't warn you, but there was a black box label warning put on them in 2021. So
Mm.
that's like the scariest warning for any type of like medical device. Um,
What does that mean exactly?
Black box warning, I don't know like the definition, but it's like the strongest warning that you are like that there's carcinogenic effects, um, or yeah, like they're not good for you,
Hmm. Hmm.
basically. But you know what? I bet you that doctors don't even tell women when they come in that
Hmm.
there's a black box warning on them. I bet you have to, there's some sort of weird liability clause. I don't know. Um, but yeah, and a lot of women are gaslit. They have a lot of these symptoms and they're just told, oh, it's just your anxiety, it's just depression, it's just whatever. And,
Here's
and
another
then,
pill for that, right? Yeah.
yeah. And then, like, or yeah, they just say it's all in your mind, or they're diagnosed with autoimmune diseases. And
Hmm.
like, I mean, of course, there's a lot of other factors in our environment due to like endocrine disruptors through plastics and all the chemicals sprayed on our food and our air and our water. We all know that. Um, But yeah, so I finally just I bit the bullet. I had to finance them and took out some Bitcoin. Thank God someone told me to buy Bitcoin a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
Now
that's clutch right there.
I know. I was like, yes. So I took some of that out and I got them out and I definitely had an improvement in symptoms. I definitely felt my heart chakra blown wide open. I mean, you have to just think like you've got these two plastic things that are blocking your heart
Wow.
chakra.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my heart was definitely blown wide open. But I'm still experiencing health symptoms, some from that and some from just life, and there was mold in them. So that is a factor. So I'm definitely dealing with mold toxicity. Um,
So was the mold in the capsule, did they find, or was it in the inside?
it was inside the implants.
Oh wow.
So, which had to have been inside the capsule too. Um, so, because yeah, it was kind of like seeping in. But
Mhm.
yeah. Um, but I've had other mold exposures for sure. Um, but that was definitely, and this is like if there are any women out there that are, have breast implants and are questioning it, I mean, it's never a bad idea to get them out. Um, but it 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 wasn't the fix to all my problems, but it was a piece of the puzzle, a
Mhm.
big piece of the puzzle. Like
Mhm.
my body was definitely rejecting them and it was time to get them out. But I definitely still had a lot of other um, like chronic health issues going on. Like right now, I'm really super focused on healing my gut, um, my cortisol levels because of just, high stress over the last few years, which again, as a projector, like you hear so many people, if anyone out there is a projector and, you get to a point in your life where you just feel completely burnt out or you have health issues or something goes wrong, that's usually the universe and your body being like, okay, enough, you're not operating within your design. Slow down.
Hmm.
And so now, yeah, I mean, I'm really super focused on my physical health and subsequently my spiritual health as always, but my physical health is really a huge like point of focus for me right now. It's really consuming a lot of my time and energy, but I'm learning so much and I feel my body getting better day by day. Now I just need to find out if there's mold in this apartment because in San Diego, apparently mold is a thing and it can be hidden. Like I don't see any, but you're always like, I don't know.
I had some hidden in my little studio, like up in the kitchen cabinets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
See,
it
I
wasn't a
haven't
lot, it was
seen
just a
any
little bit. Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, and they can paint over it and they can do things,
Hmm.
um but yeah, mold will really mess you up, man. That well, but you get, again, it's all lessons and all the things that I'm learning right now. I am grateful to be able to share my journey and my experiences so I can help other people who end up getting in this same or making the same choices,
For sure. Yeah,
and
for sure.
but yeah, like just knowing that there's so many like chemicals and neurotoxins and endocrine disruptors in the implants that start impacting your body. It's just not worth it for me, you
Hmm.
know.
Do you know any statistics about the microplastics?
Within the breast implants,
Yeah, like how much of it seeps in or anything like that?
I mean, think about it as like you don't keep like a water bottle in your car that's hot, right?
Right.
You wouldn't ever drink out of that.
Hmm.
So like as soon as the implants are put in, they're starting to seep toxins and chemicals into your body.
Hmm.
Like I don't know the specific number, but I also do hot yoga and I sauna and I've been
Hmm.
literally like heating my body up
Hmm.
to detox with these, toxic things inside of me. So, um, but yeah, I'm super grateful that they're gone. They were not helping my health by any means.
Hmm.
Were they and some women get them out and all their problems go away. And that's awesome. For me, it was just a piece of the puzzle.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm grateful that they're gone. Good riddance.
Hmm.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later. Maybe
Yeah.
never.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that story. I think
Yeah.
it's very inspirational for any women listening and, bringing that awareness and sharing that because it's a big thing in the world,
Yeah.
not just in the US.
Yeah, and I'm definitely open if anyone out there does have breast implants and is thinking about getting them removed or has a loved one or friend. Like I'm happy to hold space and answer questions or, share anything that I've learned. Um, because it's kind of crazy to navigate. And I don't typically deal with the Western medical system at all. Like
Hmm.
I only go to holistic doctors and healers. So like having to navigate that system was a little bit daunting. So if I could, you know, be of guidance in any way, I'm happy to do so. So
Yeah,
yeah,
beautiful. And we'll drop all your links, all your whatever you want to share
I don't really have
in
that many links, but
in
just
the bio.
I'm just a regular person over here, just sharing my heart. So
Yeah, thank you so much. So
yeah.
I think uh this is a good since you just mentioned holistic healing, like Chinese medicine has been one of the major ones for you. Is that
Hmm.
I know so with Chinese medicine, from my understanding, they work with the the meridians and
Hmm.
the naughty points, right? And
Hmm.
the
Certain pulse
flow of
points.
energy, like the chi through
Hmm.
the body.
Hmm.
And recently I had some hip pain and I went to an acupuncture Chinese medicine doctor and she gave me some herbs to take. And I asked her, "Do you think it's an infection of some sort? Do you think it's viral? What do you think it is? And she was like, basically she said it like it doesn't really matter. Like just take these herbs and we're opening up the channels and it's just going to clear out. And it did.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's their approach. It's not, it's very different, than the Western medicine. And I really like that because then it kind of encompasses everything and
Hmm.
it targets whatever needs to be targeted. Uh, can you speak a little bit into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I've been seeing a Chinese medical doctor and like frequency healer for I don't know, a long time now, 15 years maybe. Um, and yeah, so it's really interesting because typically what will happen is they'll go in and they'll muscle test to see what is the priority. So sometimes I have just specific things going on, like you have pain in your hip, or you're a little sick, or you're having this or that, pain in my neck. Um, And so they'll go to what that priority is, and they'll also test. So the doctors that I see do multiple tests. So um, they'll see if there is like some sort of like, infection, whether bacterial or viral that could be causing it. Because you can even have like inferred pain from, a sick organ that could have caused some inflammation and cause a nerve to pinch or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, there can also almost always there's some sort of emotional root. So I do a lot of NET, that's neuro emotional technique. So that's a really cool technique where they'll actually go to whatever specific organ is being infected or part of the body, and they will go through each emotion to see like what's going on, and then they'll narrow it down, and then they can actually go back by muscle testing to see what was the original wounding from this emotion. So it could
Hmm.
be, you know, conception to five, 5 to 10, onward to however old you are.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's even not your own. You could have taken something on from like your mom or your dad or a coworker or a boss that pissed you off,
Right.
and it can be impacting you, and you're like, dang. Um, but yeah, so then they'll go back to the original wound of that. Like, oh, well, when I was in kindergarten, I didn't get invited to this birthday party. I'm, just giving a random
Right.
example, but it
Right.
it can be always like so spot on. It's so crazy. And then they'll like do a process of you'll put your fingers on a certain pulse point and you'll breathe through it and you'll feel that emotion and you'll release it. And then they'll come back
Mm.
and recheck and boom, it's like better.
Wow.
So, and then testing to see, if there is certain, you know, that wasn't full Chinese medicine, that was like NET, but
Hmm.
they'll also test to see what your body needs to support it nutritionally. So, whether that's herbs, and the beauty with like Chinese medicine and Chinese herbs is that these herbs are super powerful and they also hold a frequency. Everything holds a frequency.
For sure.
So, they're powerful enough to be able to clear out like chronic infections or even acute infections. But they're also not going to like destroy your gut microbiome or like harm you like a lot of these petroleum-based pharmaceuticals, or all of them, will do.
Hmm.
So it actually will not only like destroy some of the bad stuff that's going on, but it'll support your body's innate ability to heal and actually make these organs and things and whatnot stronger rather than
Hmm.
weaken them. Like,
Hmm.
like with chemo, you just bomb your body, you
Right.
kill everything,
Right.
you know? So and with antibiotics and stuff, it just kills everything.
Hmm.
Where with this process, it's might take a little bit longer, but you're not going to like destroy your innate immune system and body's natural functions. It'll actually support them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I know the tongue is like a roadmap, right? Like
Hmm.
they take a look at the tongue and it tells them so much about what's happening in the body.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, some do, some don't. Some do. I mean, you can look at the tongue, you can do muscle testing, there's a lot of different ways.
mhm, mhm. So you mentioned NET. Can you talk a little bit about that and what that is for those that don't know?
Yeah, I kind of just went over it. That's kind of what it is. So neuro-emotional technique. So, I mean, your body holds emotions in certain areas of the body, and that can make you sick. So, like, I mean, I have an uncle that passed away from lung cancer that never smoked a day in his life.
Mm,
Like that side of the family, I wasn't very close with, but I just wonder, like, was there certain emotions associated with grief that were unprocessed? There was a lot of trauma. It was my dad's side of the family.
mm,
So um, it just, everything is connected, body, mind, soul, and spirit. So if you're just focusing on the physical and you're not looking at the emotional, spiritual, like components of what's going on in your life and in your past, if you're not addressing your shadow, if you're not sitting with your shadow and, being able to look at that and like be like, okay, yeah, this is an area for growth, or this was something that really hurt me in the past where I need to forgive somebody, or, whatever the case might be, like it will manifest in your body and you will get sick eventually. But I do believe that like we're intelligently designed, amazing, like creatures,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and, um, given the right environment and terrain, like our bodies can heal from anything.
for
Like
sure.
I really truly believe that, and
Mm-hmm.
that might sound a little woo woo to some people. Um, and I think that's the path that I'm on is, yeah, if I can find a natural way to heal it, I'll do it. I'm down to do anything. I mean, there's some things that are a little crazy that I haven't done, but I'm like, if somebody said it would, if I had something going on and someone said it would heal me, I'd probably do just about anything, just
Yeah,
about anything.
right,
If it's in
right.
alignment, you always have to tune in and be like, okay, is this something I should try or should I not?
For sure, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of amazing medicines. I mean, Chinese medicine, for example, has been around for thousands of years,
Hmm.
many, many thousands, and you think about how refined that's gotten in all those years compared to Western medicine, where it's all about business and money and making profit. And
Hmm.
so when you look at it that way, it's just a very different approach. It's healing the emotions and the energy versus just healing the symptoms to make more
Hmm.
profit and getting someone on a pill for the rest of their life. So it's a sad truth, and at the same time it's beautiful that there's all these other ways for us to heal and
Hmm.
work with the body. And yeah, I'm just grateful that they're available, and
Yeah.
that they're around, and
Hmm.
there's many people and many different ways to address these issues. So
Hmm.
it's really beautiful. So yeah, I would love to hear about an experience we talked about before the call with Joe Dispenza. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, you've heard me talk a little bit about with my relationship with my father. Growing up, it wasn't the best. I mean, he went through a lot of trauma, like a lot of trauma. And so I grew up in a lot of fear. I grew up in fight or flight all the time. And he was diagnosed with dementia back in 2019. And he his personality had really started changing quite a few years before. And he was pretty young. He was 67, I think 66, 67 when he was actually diagnosed. But he went to like this beautiful childlike place. I shouldn't say beautiful. I mean, dementia is not beautiful, but it was a place where it was like I always knew that part of my dad was there. It was just really hidden under so much trauma. So that trauma came out as anger. And so when he got dementia, he went to this childlike place where he was actually really sweet and loving. He would want to give me hugs. He told me he loved me. Like, I didn't grow up with that kind of dad.
Mhm.
And so it was, I mean, as difficult as that process was, it was actually really healing because I was able to have some of those beautiful moments with my dad before he transitioned. And then he did transition pretty quickly. He passed about 2 years after his diagnoses. And it did progress very fast because obviously the pandemic um, started and everything shut down.
Hmm.
So everything that he was doing that was keeping him somewhat active, like gone. So he was just sitting in front of the TV, just wasting away. So he progressed really, really fast after that. And then we were about to have to put him in a nursing home because it just got to the point where my mom couldn't take care of him by himself. Long story short, we didn't have to do that. We were able to get in-home care for him. But I mean, his higher self knew. So we had all these tests done, like to get him into the nursing home, like physical tests. He was healthy, he was fine. And I was with my mom the whole time, supporting her and making sure she was okay because I was living in Nashville, Tennessee at the time. My family lived in Virginia. Um, and so um, he was good. We had in-home nursing care. My mom was good. I went back to Tennessee and he passed away 3 weeks later. Like it was like that. And he had a gallbladder infection that turned septic. And I honestly, like, it's a blessing because if I got to that point, I wouldn't want to have to be in a nursing home. Like, I don't want to live life in that state.
Same,
Personally,
same. Yeah.
I want to move on.
Hmm.
And I think his higher self just knew, like, he's like, yeah, I ain't going down like this. So he
Hmm.
just bounced.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, we had some really beautiful moments while he was physically on the earth. But then I had a Joe Dispenza retreat scheduled for December 20, was it 2020? Yeah, it was. It was the first one they had after the whole world shut down. It was in Mexico.
I
And
remember. I remember some of my friends went to that.
oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to go, but we were obviously planning like a celebration of life's, service for him, and he was cremated. So, because of, the shutdown and everything, it was kind of planned out pretty far. So my mom was like, no, go. I was like, okay. So I went and, um, the retreats, I mean, you meditate like three or four times a day. There's like three main ones. There's two like 4 a.m. the pineal gland meditation. That's really hard, like 4 hours. But this was just a regular afternoon meditation session. And I mean, you would hear people like having really crazy experiences. I mean, you don't know what's going on because you're in your own little thing. But this was just a regular afternoon, and he was calling everybody back. And then all of a sudden, boom, I like go through this portal and it was just all bright white light and like it was just so intense. And then I was there with my dad and what I believe as Jesus. I mean, I felt like it was Jesus. Like it was just very bright white light, but I could tell it was my dad and Jesus. And he was telling me how much he loved me and how proud he was of me.
Mm.
And I'm like sobbing and it was just so special and so healing. And it was words that I never heard from my dad before. And because in his earthly body, wasn't capable of sharing those words with me. Um, and it was also just this confirmation he was in a really beautiful place. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was it was very yeah, it was very profound and very healing. And it was just really interesting because it was at the end of the meditation. So I'm like, everyone's getting up and leaving, and I'm having this whole experience. And I started to come back into my body, and some beautiful people came over, and like, I couldn't walk for a while. Like my body was just vibrating. I mean, I left. I was gone. But yeah, some people came over and helped me get back in my body, but that I will like cherish that experience for the rest of my life. And yeah, it was very, very healing for me. So
That's
yeah.
so beautiful. I love hearing that. That's my first time hearing that, and that's so amazing. What was it like to experience Jesus's energy, and did he say anything to you? Was he like a light? What was that?
Yeah, it was well, and I was raised Christian, so it makes sense that that's who was with my dad. Um, but it was I don't even know. I mean, it was just like the most, I mean, of course, love, like the most intense, bright. unconditional, accepting, intense love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Almost to the point where it was too much,
Mm.
you know? Like, and I just wonder if I would have really let myself go, like if I would have been maybe by myself or whatever, um, if I would have gone further and had a longer experience. But um, yeah, it was, and it was intense, but in a good way,
Mm-hmm.
like a good intense.
Mm-hmm. What is that? What does that too much feel like? Is it just like really like like a huge hug? Like what does that intensity feel like?
For me, it was almost like I was about to spontaneously combust.
Oh, whoa.
It
Okay.
was like so much energy. Like
Mm.
I wasn't afraid. I, but I wouldn't say it was peaceful. It was just like, it was just so much I was taking in, like so much light, so much information, so much love, so much acceptance. Like it was just,
Whoa.
it was a really, yeah, beautifully intense experience.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Have you been to any other Joe Dispenza retreats since then?
Yeah, I've done one advanced follow-up and the other stuff I did was online, like the workshop, the pre-workshops. I think he was doing them just online. I think they're doing some now in person.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've done two of his online ones and then the one retreat and one advanced follow-up. And I have my favorite meditations that I'll do still. Like
Yeah,
yeah, there's
what are
one.
some of your favorites?
I love tuning into new potentials
Okay.
and um I do love the oh I say that it's the chakra one. Um Whatever the chakra one is.
Okay.
And I love the walking meditations.
Okay.
But
Great.
with the
Yeah.
walking meditation, have you done a walking meditation?
Not with Joe
Oh,
Dispenza.
oh, okay. Yeah, it's just you can see videos online when it's a bunch of people because there's times where you're just standing, so you can look kind of weird if you're doing it outside. Um, but sometimes I just keep walking on those. And usually I have my dog with me anyways, um but yeah, I it'd be cool to have like a little small group to meet up and do them every once in a while. So
Yeah.
that way, people are like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Have a t-shirt that says I'm meditating. I'm
Right.
okay. Don't
Right.
call 911.
Right. Right. If I'm just standing somewhere random, not doing anything, don't mind me. I'm just meditating.
Which around here, honestly, probably would, I mean, it would fly.
Yeah.
Like right here at Encinitas.
Yeah. Nobody would really
Yeah.
bat an eye.
Somebody would probably be like, can I join? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. What are you
come on.
doing? This looks cool.
But yeah, his
I've
work is great.
Yeah, I've done that. I would be doing Kundalini yoga on the beach, and just people would come up and be like, "Oh, can I join in?" And I'm like, "Sure." You know,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
great.
love it.
I
I
love,
love
yeah,
that
I love
about
it
that
too.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Joe. So maybe we can drop some of those meditations into the bio or into the description,
Okay.
and people can try those out. Because
Yeah.
I know Joe Dispenza has some really powerful tools and techniques that he shares with the world too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I went on that retreat, I was hurting really bad. Like I mean, I had my anchors here, but I was not happy being on the planet. And I feel like we've all probably felt that at some point, right? I was in
Mhm.
a lot of pain. And I remember like starting with the online workshops and sometimes I would scream and cry my way through meditations or work, some of the teachings and I'm like, ah, just releasing. But I mean, honestly, even the online workshops, and teachings that he has, like within days, I felt that heaviness lift.
Mm.
And, um, and that was even before my dad passed. So, um, yeah, his work is powerful. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's really good.
I'm grateful for these teachers and different experiences like this,
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
for people to be able to have. It's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And they always seem to come along at the right time. So
Hmm.
if you're just staying open and receptive, or even you go out searching because you're in need of some guidance and help and assistance, like it's there, you
Hmm.
know? Um,
When the student's ready, the teacher appears.
yeah,
I've
bingo.
found that every time, and sometimes it takes a little bit for me to align with that,
Yeah.
but a lot of times it happens really quickly, really quickly.
Hmm.
In my
Hmm.
journey, at least that's been my experience. So, Shelley, it's been such an honor to have you on. Thank you so
Oh,
much for
thank
joining
you.
us. We
Yeah,
have
this has
so
been
much
so fun.
more. Yeah, we have so much more we could talk about. Maybe we'll do a part two.
Okay, yeah, sounds
So,
good. This
yeah,
has been fun, Peter.
it was really awesome. Thank you again. Until
All
next
right.
time.
Okay, see you later.
Take
Bye.
care.